Imagine you need to travel from New York to California. Today, that's a 6-hour flight. In 1850, that was a 6-month journey through deserts, mountains, rivers, and territory where no road had ever been built. No GPS, no paved highways, no guarantee you'd arrive alive. How did Americans cross an entire continent with nothing but a horse and determination? Welcome to old American ways. In 1800s America, the horse was everything. It was your car, your truck, your taxi, your tractor. Without a horse, you simply did not go anywhere. But not all horses were equal, and Americans in the 1800s knew exactly which horse to use for which job. For long-distance travel, they used the American quarter horse, powerful, fast, and built for endurance. A good quarter horse could cover 30 to 40 miles in a single day. For heavy hauling and farm work, they used draft horses, massive animals like the Percheron and the Clydesdale, capable of pulling thousands of pounds. Owning a horse in the 1800s was not cheap. A quality riding horse cost between $30 and $200 only. That was several months of wages for most American workers. If your horse died on the trail, you walked, or you didn't make it at all. Horses were so valuable that horse theft was considered one of the most serious crimes on the frontier. In many territories, it was punishable by hanging. That tells you everything you need to know about how critical the horse was to American life. If the horse was the car of the 1800s, then the stagecoach was the Greyhound bus. The stagecoach was the main form of public transportation across the American West. For anyone who could not afford their own horse or needed to travel faster than a wagon, the stagecoach was the answer. The most famous stagecoach company in American history was the Wells, Fargo and Company, founded in 1852, and the Butterfield Overland Mail, established in 1858, which ran a route of nearly 2,800 miles from Missouri all the way to San Francisco. 2,800 miles in approximately 25 days, day and night, non-stop. Now, riding a stagecoach was not comfortable, not even close. You were packed inside a wooden coach with up to 9 other passengers. No suspension worth mentioning. Every rock, every rut in the road, you felt it. The roads, if you could call them that, were brutal. Mud in the rain, choking dust in the summer, frozen ruts in the winter. You stopped every 10 to 15 miles at a relay station to change the horses. These stations, called swing stations, were the gas stations of the 1800s. And the dangers were very real. Stagecoaches carried mail, gold, and cash, which made them prime targets for robbery. Outlaws like Black Bart robbed Wells Fargo stagecoaches over 28 times in California alone. The driver, called the Jehu, sat exposed on top of the coach in all weather. Next to him sat the shotgun messenger, an armed guard whose entire job was to protect the strongbox with his life. That is where the phrase "riding shotgun" comes from, a term Americans still use today. Now, if the stagecoach was the bus of the 1800s, then the Pony Express was the sports car. The Pony Express, one of the most legendary, most misunderstood chapters in American history. It lasted only 18 months, from April 1860 to October 1861. Just a year and a half, but in those 18 months, it captured the imagination of an entire nation. Here is how it worked. A relay network of 190 stations stretched nearly 2,000 miles from St. Joseph, Missouri to Sacramento, California. Young riders, most of them teenagers, would ride at full gallop between stations, covering 75 to 100 miles per day. At each station, they had 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, to leap off their horse, grab the mail pouch called the mochila, throw it onto a fresh horse, and gallop away at full speed. The average delivery time from Missouri to California? 10 days. Compare that to the Stagecoach, 25 days. Or a ship around South America, 6 months. The Pony Express riders were young, fearless, and paid well. About $100 to $150 a month. That was extraordinary money in 1860. The job advertisement they ran was blunt. It reportedly said, "Wanted young, skinny, wiry fellows, not over 18, must be expert riders, willing to risk death daily, orphans preferred." Orphans preferred because the job was that dangerous. Riders faced blizzards, desert heat, hostile territory, and the constant risk of being thrown from a horse at full gallop. And yet, hundreds of young Americans applied. The Pony Express was eventually made obsolete by the Transcontinental Telegraph in October 1861, the same month it closed, but its legend never died. In 18 months, those riders carried over 35,000 pieces of mail, lost only one mail pouch in the entire history of the service. One? That is a record that would impress even FedEx. Horses that covered 40 miles a day, stagecoaches that crossed 2,800 miles of wilderness, teenage riders who carried the mail through blizzards and deserts for $2 a letter. These were not just transportation methods, they were expressions of something deeper. The American refusal to be stopped by distance, by terrain, by impossibility. Every road, every trail, every route across this continent was carved out by people who looked at the unknown and decided to go anyway. That spirit, that restless, relentless forward motion, is what built the United States of America. And it started with a horse and the courage to ride. This has been old American ways. If you want more stories like this one, the real stories of how Americans lived, traveled, and survived, subscribe and join us every week. Next week, we go inside the Pioneer Smokehouse and uncover the forgotten origins of American barbecue, old American ways where the past is never truly gone.